Hey Kim,
Hey, Sherry.
you're going to tell me a story today, aren't you?
I am. It's a story that, m most of my stories are a little bizarre and they catch me off guard, but this was a young gal in one of my last classes, before I retired. She was always pretty snotty, I'll just say. She was pretty snotty. She wanted everything done her way. She wouldn't listen in class. Um,
What
and
age
one
group are we
day,
talking?
huh?
What age group are we
Oh,
talking?
well, this is a teenager, so,
Okay.
take that. But she wanted to talk to me in the hallway one day and she comes at me and says, I don't like the way you talk to me. And I go, well, okay. I don't like the way you talk to me either sometimes. And she blew up at me and she decided, see, you think you're better than us. You think you're like, wait. I'm the adult in the room. I'm the authority figure. We're not equals. We're not friends. And she walked away, said that was it. She got all of her stuff, walked out of my class, never saw her again. She had gotten mom to take her out of my class. And mom said that she knows that her daughter could be a handful sometimes, but that I really need to be careful of how I talk to her. And I just thought that was the most bizarre. I mean, I know teenagers are, they're feeling their oats and they're testing boundaries, but to think that we're equals,
Oh, I love where you're going with this.
it was just the most bizarre thing. I was just my gaskets were flabbered. I just thought
Absolutely.
that is so, and then to get even more upset, it's like, but I am the adult. I am the authority. I am the expert in this classroom. I am the one who knows how to what needs to be done and when we should do it. And I can't help you if you're doing your science work instead of your English work in
Right.
class. So um, it was just a very entitled young lady. And
Okay.
I was just wondering how on earth she
Okay.
never learned those boundaries.
Okay, it is a very interesting thing that I've run into similar things myself where it's easy to kind of get caught up in that. I was having a conversation with a family. They're having difficulties with their teenager. And I wanted them to, like, we were talking about core values, and I wanted them
Hmm.
to define what respect means for each of them. And so mom and dad are telling me, kind of what we'd think a classical definition of respect, kindness, consideration, courtesy,
Hmm.
all of those little pieces. And their 14-year-old son said, well, respect is something that you have to earn. And I was like, oh, hold the phone. Okay, time out.
He's not wrong,
Yes,
but
but he's completely wrong. And this is why.
yes,
This is
yeah,
why. Because he wanted me to prove to him how I was worthy of respect
right,
and
right.
knowledge. And I said, hold the phone. See the little DR by my name? See the diploma on the wall? That
Hmm.
is my proof that I have earned that respect.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have proven to the powers that be that I have that authority and that knowledge. That means whether you like me or not, I get that piece of the respect.
Hmm.
And parents, because they have outlived you through no fault
Hmm.
of their own,
Right.
they therefore have automatically earned a certain level of respect because they do know more than you, because they
Hmm.
are. And that is where I love, like, the tying this into boundaries is so timely because that is where it comes from. This lack of boundaries, this lack of
Hmm.
hierarchy, like, oh, and it goes back to, remember the conversation we had a couple weeks ago about choices
Hmm.
and
Right.
how, like, allowing the kid to always be the one to choose what they're eating, and now the
Yeah.
kid is the one that's responsible for eating. I am an
Hmm.
equal because I get to pick what we eat. I get to pick what we do. I can
Hmm.
change my mind about I wear 300 or 400 times, and you then
Hmm.
have to pick up my clothes. All
Yeah.
of these things, all of the lack of consequences, is what leads to this weird boundary place where kids feel like they're more important than the parents.
Yeah, and part of that too is because like you were saying, that diploma And just by virtue of my age, you know, that I do command a little bit of respect for that because of that. And just being a human being.
Right.
I deserve a little respect for just being a human being. Not don't
Exactly.
treat me like that. But these kids, and particularly little girls like this, um, they don't. They've been hurt so many times, and so many teachers have let them get down, and so many authority figures have let them down that, like that little boy said, you have to earn my respect. It's like, no, 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 that's not how this works. You don't get to trash me and then expect me to respect you.
Right, right. No, exactly. But the like we're allowing too much mangling of our language to go on
Hmm.
where like when I say
Absolutely.
boundaries, I mean one thing, they mean something way else. And like we're actually creating this double standard with everything that we do and every person that we deal with, instead
Hmm.
of having like, okay, no means no. Well, no only means no when I say it. No doesn't mean no when you say it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
like, I expect all of this respect just because I'm a human being, but I'm not willing to give it to anybody else. Well, okay, at some point, like um, so if we keep going backwards, okay, so this is what caused this. Like let's set the dominoes back up and look at like, okay, where did we have that break? Like
Hmm.
where are we missing these pieces? And I think one of the biggest places that we could be like, okay, this is an important juncture, and it's when we start to lose logic instead of like we have all these logical fallacies that in the past we would point them out and be like, this is an incorrect logic chain. This is not
Yes.
following. And now we
Yeah.
don't do that. Now we're like, we embrace it. Okay. And again, it's like, just because I feel something, okay, that means not only is it a fact now, you have to accept my fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of that whole I identify as, it's like, well, great. You can pretend to be whatever you want, but I don't see a cat there. I see a human being.
Well, here's the thing: if that's a thing, then I want to go to the bank and identify as a billionaire.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that's just the way it should be.
But it's funny how it, like you said, it doesn't work that way. The double standard is that it doesn't work that way. I can't identify however I want and therefore command respect for what I want, even though the fact on the wall, the diploma, plural, the diplomas on the wall don't qualify me for respect, yet I'm supposed to respect you just because you're sentient.
Uh, exactly, and I'm supposed to like be able to mind read and know exactly what, where, like everything. And so it's like,
Hmm.
instead of like fighting against all of these logical fallacies, what we're doing is we're not pointing them out anymore as logical fallacies. We're just like, oh, somebody said something, so we have to go with this. And nobody
Yeah.
says, wait a minute, that, like, okay, logic, all men are mammals. That's a logical statement. It's factual.
Hmm.
All dogs are mammals. Again, fact. Okay?
Right.
So if A equals B, then A equals C. So if all men are mammals and all dogs are mammals, therefore it stands to reason that all men are dogs. Okay, not
Well, that's
logical.
another story, but yes.
Right. Exactly. That's a whole nother series. But the idea behind it is that instead of saying like, okay, wait a minute, your logic is skewed,
Hmm.
follow along, let's set these dominoes back up to where
Right.
they're going to fall correctly. Now we're like, oh yeah, okay, it doesn't matter how they fall, we're just going to go with it. At
Yeah. And
some
that's,
point, at
and
some
talk about,
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, and talk about the anxiety, like you were saying, the anxiety that comes with that. Because now even the kid who's setting up their own personal boundaries and destroying everybody else's boundaries, they're now they have anxiety because now they have all this power and they don't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
And then
I've
they
said
turn
it
into these monsters.
right. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, the biggest fear I had graduating high school was not, where am I going to go to college? What am I going to study in college? Am I going to
Hmm.
get married? Am I going to have kids? None of those things worried me. I didn't even care.
Right.
It was,
Yeah.
what was I going to choose to eat for every meal from moving forward? It's like,
Yeah.
It's like going into the grocery store with no list, but you're hungry and there are so many choices, it overwhelms you, and that
Hmm.
gives us anxiety. That
Hmm.
power to walk in and be like, well, I could eat anything in here.
Yeah,
Oh my
but I
God, I don't want
shouldn't.
to
Yeah.
cook anything in here. I want, like, do I want, so that too much, too much power,
Hmm.
too much choice,
Hmm.
too much everything, not understanding the boundaries, not understanding the logic, that increases anxiety like unbelievably.
Yeah.
The Again, it's like, do you remember when we were learning how to drive? No, no stories from Mr. Brandt's, little blue Toyota or whatever. I don't want to hear any of that.
Mr. Brandt's,
I promise
uh,
not to
Mr.
chat
Brandt's
on you
car.
if you don't tell on me. But you remember the anxiety of all that power.
Yeah.
And for anybody watching, just for context, we actually had to watch all those terrible videos about horrible car accidents before they let us
Yes.
behind a wheel. So here we are, armed with all of this knowledge that we're driving. We now have a
And we
3,000
could get horribly
pound,
maimed.
right, and maim everybody in the back seat. Which,
Oh
why
my
they
gosh.
allowed
Yeah.
that, I have no idea. But here we are.
Mm.
More proof that Gen X has ruined the world, and
Ruin the world.
we're picking up the pieces now. Um, but
And
the
gluing them
whole
on backwards.
that's right. Legs aren't supposed to look like that. No, the, the idea behind it though is that we're driving this 3,000 pound weapon, and
Hmm.
we don't have all the skills and all the knowledge yet to handle it. And
Yeah.
at some level, we know that.
Hmm.
Okay, at some level, I think these kids know that. Again, I was working with a family where, like, the amount of disrespect I'm seeing between the kid and the dad is like unprecedented. And
Really.
then the kid starts throwing it at me as well, and I'm like, hold the phone. So the bottom line is, he doesn't have any idea how to ask for attention in healthy ways. And so he can't say, Dad, I want you to hang out with me. I want you to talk to me.
Hmm.
I want you to teach me something. And so he literally is like picking up the remote control, chunking it at Dad. Like, okay, you'll get attention for sure.
Right. You know what though? That was always like part of that teacher school lessons, I guess, was that the kid who acts out is most likely the kid who doesn't know how to get attention the right way. So he'll get attention however he
However
can.
he can, right?
Yeah.
And when kids are, I think we remember that when they're little. You got
Hmm.
a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and they're doing that kind of thing, and we don't even necessarily bat an eye at, like, okay, that's appropriate childhood behavior for not
Hmm.
knowing how to ask for attention. So
Hmm.
how is it happening that this huge chunk of this generation is getting up into their teens, not understanding how to ask for attention appropriately?
And I think it keeps going back to you and your, the choices, the too many choices. That
And
as
and
parents, again, coming from such a place of love and wanting to nurture and be so warm and gentle with our kids, that we want to empower them with all of this, their choices, or that
right.
you are a valuable individual. It's like, absolutely, but he's still a kid. He's still only 3 years old. He
And
shouldn't be given that kind of stature in your world. He needs you to be the provider, the protector. He can't be on your level. And by level, I don't mean,
no, I totally know what you mean. And you're exactly right. And it goes back then to the boundaries, not just with, like, what boundaries are the parents setting for the kids. The
mhm,
parents are starting it out with, oh, like you said, I want to protect you, I want to love you, I want to, like, I will make sure nothing, well,
nothing
I
ever
want
hurts you.
nothing ever
Mhm.
hurts you. Okay, so this is like tying into what you we were just talking about before we started this, about, you said, if you don't mind me quoting you, the less I mess with my garden, the more I get out of it. Okay,
Yeah.
so we just moved here. It's lovely. There's freaking palm trees everywhere. It's like crazy, right? I'm gonna bring one into the house, and I'm like, oh, you sweet thing, and I'm doing this, and I'm feeding it this, and I've got special lights, and I add in fertilizer and this and that, and then like 3 days later, it's all brown and falling apart, and my husband kind of was like, well, you loved that one to death, didn't you? And
Isn't
that's
that
what we're
funny? A funny
doing.
turn of phrase, though.
Yes.
You loved it to death.
You loved it to death. No resiliency. It was not, I took away its drought hardiness. I
Mm-hmm.
took away its ability to soak up its own nutrients by providing it too
Mm-hmm.
much.
Yep.
And because I was from the best place in my heart, and the palm tree
Right.
is now like, now it literally is, know, pushing up daisies. Um,
Well, so on the bright side, you made daisies.
I made daisies, right. But on the sad side, that's what we're doing with this generation of kids, is that we're taking away their resiliency. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best ways that when I'm teaching people about self-esteem is I have to be able to draw from what have you succeeded in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if everything is a phony success, there is no self-esteem. And here's
Right.
the bottom line. I remember, like, my kids, my poor kids, we're going to be involved in stuff. Here we go. Got them involved in like one of those little community soccer leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they were way too young. Everybody on that team was way too young. But it was adorable because my kids and a couple other girls were out there skipping around, picking up dandelions and, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of boys that were just constantly wrestling, and the soccer ball usually sat over here all by itself while the kids played. Fine, they were having fun. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the season, and in the season, they had this many scores. Okay, that many. They all got trophies for participation. And my oldest, who was 7 at the time, looked at the trophy and says, what? This is like a trophy to how much we sucked? So they know. They
Mm-hmm.
know this is phony. They know it's not the natural order of things. If there's a competition and everybody else got more scores or did better,
Mm-hmm.
or however it's not doing anything to help their self-esteem. It's
No.
actually
No. Right.
counter.
I remember teaching swimming lessons at the city pool. And those kids, when, I mean, they would struggle, God bless their hearts, they would struggle to get, just a simple crawl down. And then when they finally got it, though, I remember Lori Wickard, love that girl. She and I were like dancing on the side of, we were so excited. And the kids knew when they got it that they were excited, and you could tell they knew that they had accomplished something. Now, it just breaks my heart when adults take that enthusiasm away.
Right,
When you just give them the answers and they don't get it on their own.
right,
Even writing essays, when I
right,
would give a kid back the essay for the fifth time and they're getting frustrated, it's like, I know, but look, if you just change this here and move this over to here, and then they would do that. And then I read it out loud to them and they can hear what it sounds like to them. And you can see that pride kind of build up. It's like, oh, I am capable of doing this. Instead of just
right,
saying, yep, the essay sucks. Take your D, move on, and let's go. When you keep on them to do that and they finally reach that B or that A, um, then they know they can do it. And it just hurts my heart when I see parents, teachers taking that away from kids because they don't
right.
want them to struggle. They don't want them to hurt. They don't want,
But
it's like, oh, you're
one of
just
the things
loving
that,
them to death.
right, and I want, like, we need to get that message back out there that, I mean,
Hmm.
like, we've struggled with an accurate definition of what intelligence means for a
Right,
long time. And
right.
if you break down everybody's definition of like what IQ actually is, the bottom line is IQ is the ability and speed with which we solve problems.
Yeah,
Period. That's it. If
right.
we are taking away their ability to solve problems, we are taking away their IQ.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is one of the biggest problems, because that feeds into everything else. Okay, they're no
Yeah.
longer able to solve problems, which means that when we put some of these logical fallacies out in front of them, they're not able to catch that either because they're not even aware. They're not even aware
Right.
that logic exists, let alone logical fallacies. And so maybe instead of
Don't even
having
get me
drag
started.
queens coming in at kindergarten, maybe we could have ethics and some logic. Maybe we could go a different route. But speaking of
Yeah,
going a
that's a
different
boundary I
route,
just can't get behind. I'm sorry,
um,
what?
I was speaking of going a different route. I wanted you to touch base real quick on the link because we do actually have a Facebook page. We also have a YouTube channel. The YouTube
Mhm.
channel is it's I think it's Kim and Sherry or it's
It is Kim and Sherry.
at Just Parent. And Kim, I have
Just
no idea. Please talk about the Facebook page real quick.
well, the Facebook page right now is the title of it is parenting is not a trend. But we decided that was kind of long and clunky. And so we want to go to Just Parent. So you will see that name change to Just Parent. And we're going to include those links to everything in our bio on our Facebook page. And we're also we're working on an Instagram page. So we can also get information out to everybody showing just clips because sometimes you don't want to watch the whole video. You want to do just 5 minutes. And we're starting to get creative. Remember, we're Gen X. We
Right.
don't have the chip in our heads.
It's not that we're not creative, it's that we're like looking at all these buttons going, ooh, what should I break first?
This one, this one, this one, this one.
And then this
Woo!
one, ooh, look at us
Yeah,
go. All right. So we also have posted here and there are the link for the quiz.
right.
Take a few minutes and do that. And then next week we wanted to touch base on with the holidays coming up and this very strange new boundary of like, oh, I'm mad at you, so I'm never going to speak to you again.
Yeah,
And
the cutting off.
we're gonna stop with the guillotine and just beheading people and cutting things off.
Right.
And we're gonna talk about healthier boundaries and ways
Healthy
to manage
boundaries.
that. Um,
Yeah,
so in the meantime, I just want to remind everybody that parenting is not a trend. Just
just
parent.
parent.
Just parent.
Yep,
And everybody take good care between now and then.
right.